how did it get up in there? You ever have moments where you seriously question not only your decision-making process, but also your career path? Hey, thanks for watching. This is part 2 of all the little details, or the devil's in the details, or the details do the dance, or something. I don't know. We're doing stuff that got left off the list when we were taking big swings at this and doing big giant projects. So one of them was putting the roof skin on this car. It was a big dang job. Super important to do, because the other one was, frankly, it was Swiss cheese. It was terrible. It needed a roof in the worst way. So it's on there. That's great. We've got the roof panel on, and it fit great, and it wasn't that hard to install. We showed it to you, all that stuff. You can go 2 different routes when you go to put your glass in. You can do a flush-mounted glass. There's a couple of companies that make flush-mounted glass, I think, or you could do a DIY flush mount and bodywork the whole thing into the glass, or you can put your trim pieces back on. This is the passenger side trim piece. They're in nice shape, right? They're in pretty good shape. A little bit of cleanup, some Ajax, and a super light scuffing pad or some steel wool, and this thing looks brand new. Or what I did on Z-Sled is wrap them with a carbon fiber wrap, and it looked fantastic, and it hid all the sins because those moldings were, and these aren't. So what we're going to do is put these back on. Here's the problem with that. These are the studs that hold the clips that hold these guys on. GM used them for 1,000 years, and everything fits right, it fits flush, but these little stud muffins they're not on the new panels, and they're just not, so we got to put them on. There's a couple of different ways to go. You can weld the studs back on, or there's a screw set. It's actually, you find out where the holes are, and you drill a tiny little access hole, and it's a stud that screws in. Clips, studs, we work our way down here. Windshield molding clip and screw set. Stud, window clip and reveal molding stud replacement set. That's what we're looking for, 64 to 81. We would probably want the 25 pieces. And yeah, there they are. I've done that before, and I don't guess there's anything really wrong with it. To me, it feels a little weird drilling a hole in the backside of, or in a brand new panel, and not being able to do anything from the backside because we don't have access for that. But hey, if we weld a stud on, we're going to burn the E-coat off the backside anyway, so it opens it up to corrosion. Either way, there's a couple of different ways to go about this. I forgot to order the little screw studs. Welcome to this world. And I went down to the local auto parts store, and I couldn't get them. I'd have to special order them. AutometalDirect.com has them all day long, so I'm going to put the link down in the description for the AMD. They got every dang thing. They got the glass, the clims. I just said that. The trim pieces and everything. So if you're looking to do this project, quite frankly, a very simple way, and there's nothing wrong with that, then do it like that. We're going to do it a different way. I've got a stud welder, and I'll show you all the steps with that. And there's a cool little stud thingy that I've very seldom used, but I tried it out, and it works great. We have to figure out where they are, where they go. So if we look at the spacing here, we've got this guy's 4.5 inches. This guy's 7 inches. And we don't know from here. So this is the transition panel. This goes underneath the rear glass. Let's talk about spacing here. We've got 4 3/4 inches. There we've got 6 inches. Here we've got 5 1/4 inches. I don't think GM knew what they wanted here. This is 3 3/4 inches. And then we've got another. So safe to say, there's not really a standardized way to go. Here's what I know. We've got 1, 2, 3 here. This kicks in and it cuts in right here. And I don't know that there was a clip. I don't see any witness marks for a clip back here. Right here, that's where it slips into the top channel. All right, so that's how that slippery sucker goes in there. So we can't really have a clip right there because it's double thickness, right? So now we've got to get creative. So I'm actually going to make a mark here. So that puts us there. It starts to get really, really caved in and shallow right about there, right? I'm just going to set that gently down there. So we can't have one in here, but we can put a stud right there. So that's going to be the location of our first one. So now I'm just going to assume that about every 4 inches, because this is 4.5, that's 6, about every 4 inches, that's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do is go to the other side. I'm going to measure this and mark it in. As long as we have even pressure and the clips are at the right place, the right depth, then we'll have a symmetrical clamp load and it'll be fine. So we've got 2.5 inches to my weld up to here. Again, we're going to measure 2.5 inches from my weld. So we're going to do, and because of my superior math skills and a straight measuring tape and a curved roof line, I'm going to go back to my default of finding the center point. Hang tight. All right, so we've got, it's not an exact measurement, but there's my one end, right? And I come back here and I cut it off right there is my other end. Now, peel this back onto itself, and this end touches that end, thereby and hereby we've established our center point. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of split the difference. Now I can actually reach the silly things. I know I want them 5.5, 6 inches apart. So we're going to have one there. How many? So 22. Let me see. Let's divide 5. 5 into, okay, 4. Okay, so got 5.5. 5.5. 5.5. Somebody at SCZ28.com, because I really have a lot of respect for the guys on that forum. There's some veteran members on there that are just crackerjacks of these old Camaros. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a gap that's 6 inches and roughly 5.5 on all the others. And we're going to put a clip there, clip there, clip there, clip there, clip there. And that is going to be lots of them. That hurt. 5.5, 5.5, 5.5. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Get rid of that one. I'm actually going to put a line and make sure that I know without a shadow of anybody's doubt where exactly my studs are going to go. All right, all right, all right. So that's where we're going to weld the studs. So here's what we're going to use. All right, so this is my electric stud gun. This took the place of the 1/8 inch drilled hole in the screw and pulling sheet metal back out by a really, really brutal way. And what it does is it replaces that with a weld-in stud. You've got a electrode tip right here, and you've got a ring and a sleeve. As that goes in and bottoms, it comes into contact when you pull the trigger. And we put a stud in here. As the ring makes contact with the tip, then it conducts current through the top and literally welds the pin to the sheet metal. There's a couple of other options. Here is a shrinking tip, same type of a deal. That guy goes in there and it puts a focused amount of heat into a panel. It's pretty convenient when you are trying to shrink metal. You've got an oil can. It helps a lot. We've also got this tip right here. You can see it's got a little indentation in it. It's got a little cove, little thingy, little dit, little, I don't know, whatever it is. And what goes in there are these. I'm going to just let you look at them. Those are tips. And they're made out of brass. And they're intended to take the place of the little studs that come off. Actually, there's one trapped in this windshield clip right here. And it's kind of persnickety because it's not magnetic. But the way we do this, we insert the tip there. There's just enough stick out where it's going to get welded to the surface. Now I'm going to do a test. I actually verified that this does work. I did a test setting this up, and it works pretty spanky. It puts those things right back in the right place. And when we go to put our clips back on, it works nice. We can adjust the spring tension by folding that up just a little bit, just in case you're throwing something at the TV going, it was loose. But it was loose, sorry. We have to work in difficult situations sometimes. So I'm actually going to do another test right here. And I've carefully cleaned the metal off. No, I haven't. So the way this works here is, and you can see the heat affected zone around where the stud is. It's warm. Got good penetration onto the backside there. I'm not going to touch that. It's still warm. And that replaces those studs that are welded on from the factory to the exterior panels. The challenge here is this. It's the depth in which we have to put the studs on, because in order to have a good contact, we have to have contact with the ring as well as the tip, as well as the little stud. So we're going to do some measuring and see how deep we need our little stud clip holder on our thingers, and make sure that this can work. A little bit of maintenance right here. You see this? You see the tip right there? I'm going to let it down. I'm going to clean that up a little bit just to make sure I've got good contact. All right, so let's go look at the windshield frame and see what we need to do. To find my depth, I could always grab a measuring tape, and then I'd have to do math. And although I'm pretty good at math, I want to avoid it at all costs. So what I'm going to do, and actually I have to confess or just state out loud that I took this tip from a YouTube channel called Retro Garage, and they had a first gen Camaro, and they were doing the very same thing. Now he used the drill and the screw that replaces the stud. It's got a shoulder on it, and I'm going to use the welder, neither here nor there. But what he did was he set up, he actually used tongue depressors, but I've got paint paddles instead, and he found the center point of the pin, right there, and we're going to verify. So that's the center point of the pin. So that's going to be, we know that if I put a mark right there, that's going to be exactly where that clip needs to go. So what I'm going to do is go all the way around here and mark very strategically where all of my studs will go, using this as a depth gauge, as a guide, as a template, whatever you want to call it. The other thing is this. I've marked where I need to put my studs, and I've got to strip this E-coat off in a good enough zone to where I'm going to get a good contact patch with that brass collar. So next order of business is stripping off the E-coat on the windshield frame, and I need different tools for that. All right, so in looking at that, it looked to me like it was too low. So I dug through my metal pile. This is a front windshield channel from the top of the old roof skin. And you know what? They're on the lower side of the middle too. That right there, that's an upholstery tack for the vinyl top. So that's how much they cared about the backside. And I'm stressing about a little burn mark in the backside of the E-coat. I'm not even going to worry about that at all. But that right there, that kind of confirms that it's not dead set in the middle. If I was going to do them in the middle, it'd be a mistake. So I'm going to go by the fact-finding mission that I had, and that's my place right there. That's my place for these clips. Can I reach that one? Maybe. If I've got them in the wrong spot, because I'll do a test fit, if I've got them in the wrong spot, I'll redo them, right? But I think that gets me where I need to be. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Even though this is holding several really good clips, they're in nice shape. And they're original, so we're gonna hang on to that piece for nostalgia's sake. Now we get to burn some steel. All right, like I said, I need to do a little bit of routine maintenance. I've got a red scuff pad. It's just gonna take any oxidation off of it. Brass contact. That can sit there right now. It's this ring that I was mostly concerned about. All right. If I'm going to fail spectacularly, it's not going to be because my equipment isn't in good shape. All right. Contact. All right, we're going to put one of these little dudes in there. Very persnickety, especially with gloves on. There we go for that. I'm going to do that one because I can actually see it. Can I? My God. Look at that. You know what that is? You know what kind of spider that is? That's a dead kind. See ya. I hate them. I hate spiders. Do you hear me? I hate them. I hate spiders. I don't like them. For better or for worse, that's where it is. That guy doesn't look... I'm going to verify that one. Hang on. It looks goofy. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Nope. Stud fail. You know what I really like? Is doing the same thing over and over again, having it fail every time. So we're going to clean that off again. Well, that was cherry red. If it's not welded on there, I don't know how to weld them on. All right, we're just going to continue. So that's got that done. When everything cools down again, I might put a little bit of tap, tap, tap on them. And if I knock them right off, then I'll go to AMD and get the screws. But I think that's going to work. All right, I couldn't stop. I had to get a screwdriver. I'm just doing a little pry test right here, verifying that we've got a good bond. These don't hold much pressure. It's not like it's spring-loaded or anything. So they're in good shape. They're fine. They're fine. Stop worrying, Kevin. Put this back on the shelf and tape it up to where you know you can find it again. Moving on. Door won't close. Doesn't have a latch in it. So if you've been following these episodes along, you know that my good friend Ron Ryan was here helping me break the doors down, and I accused him of stealing one of my latches. No, I didn't accuse him of stealing one of my latches. I accused him of losing it because he's building a second gen himself. Project is called Excalibur. It's going to be a bad-to-the-bone car. It's got a full Schwartz chassis. He's going to have a big LSX engine. Him and his son Cody are doing it. It's a really cool project, and he's actually had more AMD metal to put on his than I've had to put on mine, and he's doing a crackerjack job of it. And I thought, well, maybe that silly sucker needed a door latch, and maybe he light-fingered it and took it home, but he didn't. I lost it. I found it. It was sitting in the bottom of the door. Anyway, I was so close to going to AMD and getting new door latches, just being done with it. But then I remembered to myself, I said, Self, when you did Zed Sled, you used all the old door latches, and they were fine. This car's got way less miles. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So here we are. Sorry, you glimpsed into my brain. I've got the latches soaking in this stuff. The last time I used this stuff, I saved these. These are the C-tracks. These are kind of hard to come by. I think somebody repops them, but these are originals. And let me tell you, they're spendy if you got to buy them. And I was blown away because these things look like they came from the bottom of the ocean, and now they're functional. They work great. I've pickled them up, and I might send them in for another couple of days. There's a little bit of residual rust. That stuff works great. So I thought to myself, let's use that on some other stuff. So I've got my hood striker in there, and that's just been a couple of days. It's coming up super nice. When I get a little bit more stuff out of here, I'm going to put that in there. This is my pinion snubber. It's coming around a little bit. We're just going to let that sit and eat because it takes a couple of days. And what I was nervous about first using this stuff is maybe if you forget about them, because I have that tendency, then they might just get eaten away. But it doesn't work like that. This is a water-based substance. So I want to show you this. This is 2 days in. Look at the condition of these door latches. I mean, man, come on, right? Everything's functional. Everything just looks bang up, crackerjack. It looks great. This one was the worst by far. And it's almost as perfect as the other one. What is that? That's just some schmutz on there. It doesn't matter, but super clean, function. I actually saved the screws on that one. All the mechanisms work, the releases work. A little bit of that horrible red paint right there. My OCD's kicking in, I gotta get rid of that. It's gonna be in the middle of the door, nobody's ever gonna see it. But I can't help myself. All right, so that paint's gone from there now. All right, good job, Kevin. So I'm gonna put these guys back in this tub of stuff. And did I tell you that also that this is reused? This was the leftover from when I did the seat tracks. And this stuff doesn't lose any of its potency. So we're gonna let those sit and do their job. I've got some straight tap water here. I'm just going to rinse these guys off. And because I'm a bit of a freak, and I believe in chemistry, I'm going to use this other stuff. This is penetrating and lubricating oil. It's made from canola oil. It's non-toxic, it's biodegradable, blah, 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 loosens, cleans, and all the things. So I'm going to hose down the internals with this oil. Just in case. Just dry them off a little bit. So there we have it. We've got brand new door latches. Not really, but they will certainly get this thing with the doors opening and closing. So, oh man. So now, I'm gonna let that sit. If I find some other parts to put in there, I might just put them in there. Now I can install a latch in either door shell, and we can set to doing the final adjustments on our doors. So good thing for me, these latches only go in a certain way. And what is it? Drop them in. We're going to put them in with screws that came from the Kevin Martin Overpurchase Parts Fund. So thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. I've bought things 2 and 3 times myself. So your loss, my gain. I appreciate the donation. Now, I'm not going to put the rods in. I'm not going to put the external outside handle on. I'll just have to reach inside and key the latch to open and close it. And that's fine. So, we need a striker. So, if I remember correctly, I bagged that stuff up. What I didn't do, oh, driver's side, look here, I did do it. All right, so there's the pressure relief valve, driver's side striker with a sexy new stainless striker, and it's labeled, right? Isn't that fun? I've kind of been stressing this because honestly, I forgot that I actually did label a lot of stuff. So, and I'm squirreling a bit, but I'm looking at these. Somebody pops these. These are available, but all the rubber on the back side of the valve itself is good. All the fins are good. I'm just going to clean this up and reuse that, right? Somebody somewhere makes a real sexy stainless steel one, but I'm okay not having that. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Sorry, that was weird. I was just possessed by Eleanor Roosevelt. But anyway, we've got a stack of washers. We've got a fat one, 2 thin ones, and then the stainless one. I don't know how many we're going to need, so we're starting over again. Because the last time I set this door, it was a different door. It was the late model door that we're not going to use anymore. So what I do need is a hex head socket. But that's in the toolbox. All right, so we got in and out, up and down, lateral. We've got tons of room to adjust. I hope I don't need that many washers because that's kind of fugly if you ask me. But I still need a hex head to tighten that up, snug it before I close the door on it. All right, so I'm just gonna see where we are latch-wise. Oh, it's terrible. No, it's, you can't see it, but it's seriously overlapping and bumping into the actual door frame. So I get my wish, we can unstack some of these. Try again. All right. Partial. So then we know the strike's kind of in the right place, sort of. That moment when you realize you've got sheet metal stacked up onto the front of the car and it's balanced to look really good for the video shot. And you also realize that you may have just cost yourself a few hours of body work. Yep, good one, KT. Nice. It's out. I'm actually going to try and move that striker in a little bit. When I move it in a little bit, what I want to do, okay, here's what I'm talking about. It's still proud right here. It's still kicking out. It's under pretty good tension. But when I look right here, see how the rocker is out from the door frame? So what I think I could do is one at a time, I can loosen off these hinge bolts, pop the door out just a little bit, and relieve some of that pressure to where that still closes the same and this opens up the same. All right, so I'm done talking. I'm going to actually do it right now. That wasn't even tight. That was barely tight. And that one wasn't very tight. Let's see what happens when we do. Ah, nope, nothing. Okay. I need a pry bar. So that brought it out a little bit. Not enough, but a little bit. But it didn't take as much effort to close it. So what I'm going to do is adjust that strike in and see if we can get it to close up right here. Once I get this gap done, then it's it. It's set. I can start my body work. So this guy's got to go in. Oh, Lord. I get really tired of being me sometimes, so just saying. We're not going to Gorilla Tighten it quite yet. Let's see. Now we're talking. I got it too far in. Look at that. Quarters proud of the door now. All right, so come back, just a taste. So I'm actually going to start marking this so I know, so I've got a reference, so hang on. There's where I'm at. And I want to come a 1/16 of an inch that way. Oh, there we go. Pretty close. I think I'm a little high. All right. A little more. Snug you up. Oh, snug you up. Girly, girly latch. All right, so you can see the shadows at the top. I've got my hand pressed, or fingertip pressed shadow, right? You can tell it's a little bit right there, better. Here, bit of a shadow, see it? And here, no shadow, shadow, gap. So it's still gonna come out maybe another 1/16. All right, fine tune. But what this also does is it completely affirms that these latches are in good working order, because I tested the lock mechanism and I'm very, very happy. One more input, output. Oh, blew it. That even sounded better. Man, I don't know. Yeah, it needs to come out just a taste more, just a little bit more. Yeah, just a little bit more. There. That was it. You see it move? Move, Jerry. When you look at it at an angle, that's pretty stinking good. By the time I prime that, I've got to use a little bit of filler up in here. By the time that's body worked a little bit, I don't know, man. All right, here's the ultimate test. Listen. It's touching. All right, no, I can't let it go. A little farther out. Oh, too much. Just a little bit of that white showing. There. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. Okay, so that was a lot less effort closing it. I keep saying I'm winning over and over and over again, but right there, that's the win. You see it? See what I'm talking about? Yep. Yep, look at that gap. All the way up. It ducks in a little bit right there, but then it's flat, 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 flat. Okay, all right. That's it. So now, these weather seals, look, yeah, there we go. There we go. It closes. So now when I do my body work, I know that it's going to close the same when it's all painted, when it's all done and painted. So we're going to do the other side, and we're going to do that, because this is one, and then the W, and then the other arm, win. So this feels good here. We have to remember that some knucklehead dropped it, pulling it out of the packaging when I took that door skin off. That said, it's nice and flush up here. It's good here. And we've got aftermarket quarter and aftermarket door skin. It's good. The gap is good. I'm happy with the gap. Mostly, I'm happy with this. That's a minimal effort, closing that door. The seal will compress over time a little bit, but that's a good door close. It fits right here. Our rocker gap is about right. So now we can start the process of dialing in that panel, of really body working that panel, cross-blocking these transitions, and that's where they go. More importantly, when I mock up the front end to start fitting that stuff and do the happy dance with everything moving forward, now I can trust my doors. So now I'm happy. Finish, sentence, period. Puzzle, piece, last, in, you know. All right, so it's been overnight, and we're going to look at these pieces that I put in here. This is, of course, the bracket for the wiper motor. Goes onto the firewall, and it was all crusted up. It looks super nice right now. There's one fastener missing, and I know where it is, but all that requires now is just to scuff it and shoot. So I'm good with that. The other thing is this. This is the striker for the hood, obviously. And all the crust is coming off of it. Super nice. That's just paint. All of that. Look how clean that is. So it's not going to hurt the metal, obviously. So what I'm going to do, while I'm doing other things, life's what happens when you're busy doing other things. What I'm going to do is just leave this submerged. Just let it eat. And we'll take this and bring it over to the spray booth. I've already forgotten where this thing goes. I can always look back at the video when I took it off, but that was a long time ago. But anyway, I know kind of where it goes. Rebuilding, 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 rebuilding. So this, obviously, is the wiper motor, and I'm just going to clean it up. You can see what it's going to look like with it cleaned up. I'm not going to take anything electrical apart. I'm going to clean it up. I'm pretty sure I hit the switch and it worked. At least I'm going on that memory. Whether it's real or not, I don't know. But I do remember bagging these very specific specialty fasteners, and we are going to keep those safe and dry. Because you can't go to the O'Reilly Auto Parts help tree and buy those. So I'm not soaking this down. I'm just going to clean it off. So my arsenal of cleaners is the multi-purpose Rio's Garage Cleaner. I've got brake parts cleaner. I've got my shop stuff, canola oil. I've got some Eastwood solvent, pre-painting prep, and some glass cleaner. My rule for cleaning stuff like this is least invasive first. So I'm just going to try with just the glass cleaner and see where we get. Also, I'm gonna use a scuffing pad and make sure we clean the contacts really well. You'll never catch me alive, you dirty coppers. It wasn't me. I got an alibi. All right, so I've aborted the mission. I'm not gonna pull this black plastic cover off because I don't want to break it. There's something to do with that right there. Somebody is running from the law. The glass cleaner helped, but it didn't do crazy great things. So I'm gonna go with the citrus cleaner from Griot's and get it into some crevices and cracks. Oh, look at that, yeah. So that's grease, that's engine grease of some kind. And this brass bristle brush, it's kind of non-invasive, but it's also aggressive. Look at that. Oh yeah, man. Oh, does this matter if it's clean? No. Why am I cleaning it then? Because it's a sickness. Got sweat in my eye. I can't touch my, Okay, it's gone. Well, that's kind of fun, isn't it? So that's a factory sticker with an ID label on it. All right, so if you're bored with this, imagine how I feel. Imagine how Camera Guy feels. But it's got to be done. So pull up a chair, get some popcorn. Well, I knew I wasn't going to make it brand new again, but I'll settle for this. It looks a lot better. It's clean. It's not embarrassing. And I'll get it mounted, and I might spit shine on it some more. But right now, it's going back on the car. And I'm going to say, yay. Sacrificed a glove, though. Rebuilding, 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 rebuilding. And kind of what I'm hoping is that with the motor in place, I can get to that top bolt once I find it. I can't find it right now. It's gone. I've bagged and tagged everything on this car. The tiny bolt's gone. You know where I think it is? Ron Ryan. And there's only one way this can go, which is that way, I believe, right? I think so. Nope. $32. Yeah, okay, that's about the right torque. All right, ow, that hurt. Oh no. So there's a nut that goes on this guy. So that's where that sits. Now I've got to find the nut that goes on that. That shouldn't be that difficult, right? Why would it be a one-off fastener that only goes on one place in this car? All right, so I thought I found it, but I didn't find it. This is a Chevy nut, but this is coarse thread. It's fine thread. Of course it's fine thread. And I've got some other fine thread SAE nuts that I can find, but they're over in the other shop next to the toolbox with a side cabinet that's got the box of Clecos on it right underneath the drawer that's open with the extra fine thread nuts. So this subframe, if you remember, came from Ron Ryan because he's putting a full chassis in his car, 71. It's been painted for a while. He brought it to me basically ready to paint. We did a little bit of tweaks here and there to it and got it all spruced up, and then I threw it in the booth and put some satin black on it. I think we used the Eastwood hot rod black. Anyway, I'm excited about this. Actually, I had somebody, when I showed the comparison between that one and this one, somebody said, oh, why didn't you just use a stock one? Well, this is a stock one. It just looks better. It's just smoothed out. So kind of made me smile that somebody thought it was an aftermarket subframe. But it's not. It's just a smoothed out stock one. And it's squared out and it's good. And now it looks super sexy. We're going to put it in because we're very close to putting new suspension on and things like that. And I've got boxes of stuff I've been squirreling. We're going to keep things like the spaghetti noodle front sway bar. I've got new Pitman arms. This center link, that stays. I'm still undecided as to whether or not I'm gonna get a steering box. It seems like it's got some slop in it. That might just be the rag joint. Anyway, whatever. This is a parts mule at this point, but it's allowed me to roll the car around the shop. So now, since we're close to putting new suspension on, I'm going to swap out the subframe, and it's just going to look good. So what we're going to do now is suspend it on jack stands or the pinch welds, and then roll this sucker out from underneath it, and roll the new one back underneath it, and it's kind of going to tie up my shop for the foreseeable future, but it'll be fine. I don't want it too high off the ground because, yeah, I just don't. So I'm going to do the back ones first. I'm going to put a little less tension on the jack because I don't want that to spring. There, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. All right, so now that guy can come out. It won't go like that. Nobody wants that sound. All right, just needed a little bit. All right. All right, so a couple of things I want to talk about before we do stuff. First thing is the bushings. So I'm not doing a Pro Touring version of this car. Pro Touring means race car brakes, race car handling, subframe connectors, roll cages, 14-inch rotors. No, that's a lot of money. These cars handled great from the factory, and we're going to improve it. We're going to put a better suspension system in it, a little more versatility, but I want to tighten it up a little bit. These are flexi from the factory, so we're using these solid subframe bushings rather than the rubber subframe bushings. It's just a difference in the kit. These don't flex because there's billet aluminum, and these flex, and it's just going to tighten it up a little bit. So those actually can stay there because we're not going to do it. The other thing is this. Here's something I learned. This is pretty cool. So let me get a tool. Obviously, the rear bolt goes up through the bushing into the unibody. This hole right here is a factory alignment hole. Now, I didn't know about this when I built Zed Sled, but the guys at nastyz28.com and a couple of other people said, hey, that's what that 7/8 hole is for. It's for a factory alignment dowel where when these things were going down the assembly line, they were loosely put into place, an alignment dowel was put in, and they were aligned and then locked down with the impact tool. So what we're going to do is same. We're going to utilize those alignment holes and make sure that this thing is set up just like it was from the factory. So kind of a fun thing. So I appreciate you guys for informing me about that. And I'm going to put it into practice. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And what I'm really going to try and do is not scratch that newly painted subframe. And I kind of have a diabolical plan in which to do that. The truth is, the subframe isn't all that heavy. It's just really awkward. It's more heavy than one guy heavy. And will this work? Yeah, there we go. You ever have moments where you seriously question not only your decision-making process, but also your career path? Scratched it too. Good God. Yeah, how did it get up in there? Okay, there it goes. Got my little booties on the back so it doesn't scratch the back. And yeah, I'll just take them off when we get underneath. We're going to be right about there-ish. That's gonna look so cool. That makes me smile. All right, so we are going to get a little closer there. Yeah. Yeah. And the rubber pad's going to save the paint on the bottom. I think now I can take my booties off. Okay, so we're getting really close here. These will only fit in a certain way, so that's a rear, and that's a rear, that's a front. All right, so I'm just using my drift to align the bushing so I've got a straight up shot. Enormous fastener. All right, so we've caught enough threads there to hold that up. That'll lever it up to where the back end is against the frame rail, the unibody. So we're going to put the bushing in there. And we're dead center on that. All right, so we've caught our threads. I want to look, right, see if, all right, so there's the other alignment hole. And I'm going to get a flashlight so you can see it too. All right, so we can see that other alignment hole. It is right there. So that doesn't look very aligned to me, so.
Houston, we have a problem.
So I learned things. I even made these little dowels, this is just conduit, and I use this for a lot of different things, but this was the perfect size to go up and pin my alignment and get it perfectly lined up. So it perplexed me because the holes didn't line up with the indentations on the floor, and here's why. This is a subframe for a 74. That's a subframe for a 71. They're in a different place, so it doesn't translate. It's a newer floor and a newer subframe, so it's just not going to work. That is not going to work. So we're going to have to go back to the conventional measuring tape and just square it up with the measuring tape, and then it'll be fine. I still am going to use this subframe, even though it's for the wrong year technically, because it's a little bit different up here where the radiator support bolts to it. We are using a 1971 radiator support. So this is going to actually fit better on this new subframe. So that's why, it's kind of why I picked it in the first place. And it's cool trivia that they had those alignment pin holes and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to work this time. So again, we're just going to rely on the good old-fashioned measuring tape, and then we're going to zip, zip, lock it down, and yeah. So there it is. So my point of reference is going to be so there's 60. All right, so that's 60 to the center of the hole. I got lucky. I'm gonna go ahead and zip it down. Look at that. It looks gorgeous. It's all freshly painted, it's ready for everything. So, you know, and this came from Ron Ryan, and I have to say, I appreciate him for this very much. So Ron, if you're watching this, thank you. And I forgive you for hiding the latch in the door and for snaking off with a couple of those fasteners. It's okay, buddy. It's all right. But now we're ready to hang new suspension on motor mounts, set the transmission and engine in there. We've got some mocking up to do. I can start setting the sheet metal. We can put our core support on and start building this thing back up again. We're at that point. It's very, very exciting. We're not very far away. I've got stuff in boxes over there. I've got stuff in boxes over in the other shop right next to the toolbox with the side cabinet that has the third drawer that has the Clecos in it. And all of this stuff is about to come together. So we're making great progress. It looks fantastic. Thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for clicking the links. Any questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll do my best for you. The other thing is that I'm trying to put links in for the stuff that we're using on the channel, different cleaners and tools and stuff like that. If you're interested in those, click those links as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for helping us grow this channel, and looking forward to seeing you next Saturday.